Hello everyone and welcome to Buddy Baat. We've had a little bit of break, but we are back again. The T20 World Cup is coming soon. I have Dhruv again with me. Hello Dhruv, welcome to Buddy Baat. We're back again after a little bit of break.
Yeah, back to speak cricket again. Thanks for having me.
T20 World Cup coming up. But before we delve into the T20 World Cup, I want to just take a wrap up of the IPL that is just finished. There's hardly a gap of 7 to 8 days between the IPL finishing and the T20 World Cup starting. What are the 2, 3 things that you think were coming out of the IPL that have stayed with you?
Yeah, no, I enjoyed the IPL this season. I must have watched a little bit of every single game. Made sure, and the games that I missed, I did catch up on a lot of the highlights. And what I noticed a lot, I mean, I know there have been lots of discussions on impact players and smaller boundaries and, you know, things getting a little more one-sided in a batsman's favor. But I looked at a lot of the footage of last year's IPL compared to now, and the glaring thing, Akhil, was if you looked at how Jaiswal batted last IPL, the kind of power hitting, the kind of strike rate, and you just move 1 year later to this recently concluded IPL, and you see an Abhishek Sharma who's almost taking that to another level.
Yeah.
Batting less than 30 balls in every single game and having maximum impact. So while, smaller boundaries, faster outfields are a factor, but I think that the fearlessness that a lot of these younger boys are showing is something that was a very key takeaway. And that is not just in terms of maximizing a power play, but just the fearlessness in their shots. That's from an opening standpoint. Guys out of nowhere like an Ashutosh Sharma and a Shashank Singh doing so well, batting towards the back end of the innings.
Nitish Reddy.
Yeah, Nitish Reddy as well. So I think that the fearlessness that the youngsters were showing was something that I feel from last IPL to this IPL has almost gone 2 or 3 notches higher. And on the flip side, it just shows that the bowlers have had to innovate a lot more. So someone like a Mayank Yadav, you need that 156, 157 kilometer bowler. The mystery spinners like a Varun Chakravarti now are starting to come good. People like Sunil Narayan, and it just shows that unless you're a wrist spinner or a mystery spinner or someone with sheer pace, you're going to struggle in this modern T20 format. So why those 2 points stood out a lot for me is that it'll be very interesting to see, are the learnings of what we're seeing in the IPL going to rub off on the Indian team when they play the T20 World Cup?
It's an interesting question, and I'm going to ask you to put on your hat of being somebody who's worked for a franchisee, have spotted players for Bangalore when you did that. So when you start the process for identification for your players for next year, you spoke about young batters who can take risks and play freely, intriguing mystery spinners who have some different tricks. So will that be a conscious effort from the franchisees now to start doing that talent hunt from this season on, from the moment the season ends, to try and identify these players, even if they are not playing a lot of red ball cricket for their domestic state sides? Would you start identifying and spending a lot more effort to find and have those players with you?
No, very much. And some of the teams are doing it quite
They've
well
been
now.
very efficient, like a Mumbai have been doing it for a while.
Correct. KKR now with their academy as well. And I think what's going to be quite important is that, just to answer your question on scouting, when you look at players in Syed Mushtaq Ali, when you look at players in Vijay Hazare, okay, Vijay Hazare probably not as much, but whether all the T20 tournaments they play prior to an IPL, so whether they're playing a state franchise competition
Like a Samir Rizvi was noticed.
Correct, like a TNPL, or if they're playing Syed Mushtaq, I see scouts now looking at players to see who's getting 20 and 5 balls, who's getting 30 and 9 balls, and who is dominating the power play. And Akhil, this happened in the Syed Mushtaq Ali leading into this IPL, the competition that Punjab won.
Yeah.
Look at Abhishek Sharma's stats in that tournament. Prabh Simran, who opened with him, Sanveer Singh, who was batting towards the end of the innings, and Anmolpreet Singh, who batted really well in the middle overs. So that form of batting, they almost carried that confidence and form into the IPL.
True.
So now the mentality has to be very different. You need to look at a player who's probably bowling 150, 155, some wrist spinner who's taking, it doesn't help saying that you've got 20, 30 wickets, but if your economy rate is about 11 or 12, that doesn't help. Similarly, it doesn't matter if you scored 300, 400 runs in a Syed Mushtaq. They're going to be looking at issues like strike rates, risk impact, just like how this IPL, I wasn't even aware. I mean, I knew he wasn't batting that many balls, but didn't play more than 30 balls the entire tournament, got close to 500 runs. And I see now the next IPL, there will be 2, 3 more people taking Abhishek Sharma's batting to another template to another level.
Yeah.
So that evolution is something that's going to be very exciting. Yes, conditions may be a little easier to bat, smaller boundaries, the impact player rule may or may not be there. But this fearlessness that the young guys are showing in terms of their fitness, in terms of their ability to power hit, just be strong power hitters, is something that I'm quite excited about. And this is going to be quite fun. I think there's a state franchise competition coming up in the Maharashtra Premier League. So it'll be nice to see how that impacts the youngsters, because they would have just watched the IPL. They would have watched people like Sunil Narayan and Phil Salt and Travis Head and Abhishek Sharma, and they know that the scouts are going to be watching them for next IPL.
Maybe with the evolution of T20 cricket, which is happening so rapidly with players adapting, maybe there's a possibility that we need a new benchmark for analyzing how your batting is doing, right? So not just averages, not just strike rate, but a combination of a factor like how trump cards used to be having a player factor saying that this player his effectiveness or maybe out of 5 is 4.8 or 4.7. Maybe there's time for somebody like an Arun to start putting together a weighted average of average and statistics of his strike rate and come up with that number.
Yeah.
It might be interesting for statisticians to work on.
No, it is, because see, regular stats in cricket do not work. See, everyone's watched the movie Moneyball, and they say that why isn't this something you can replicate in cricket? You can't, because in baseball there's so many different metrics available. There's wind, batting average. You don't need one batsman to hit every single innings and things like that. In cricket, at the end of the day, it's a condition, it's a pitch, etc., and it doesn't help to see someone scoring 300, 400, 500 runs, because that impact may not be something needed in T20 cricket going forward. And that is going to be very interesting. We don't know how long 50 over cricket will last, but if your premier white ball or your only white ball format is 20 overs, kids growing up, because the mentality in India when you're a young batsman is
100 karna hai.
I have to get 100, I have to get a 50, I have to look after my own runs. Robin Uthappa said that on a podcast recently. Now the mentality is going to be how many risks can I take, how I manage my risks well, and how I'm creating that maximum impact. So somebody batting over 7 to 15 will have a different thinking, and this thinking has to come from your grassroots level. So when you're playing a state franchise competition, when you're playing the Syed Mushtaq Ali tournament. So that is something. Just seeing someone score 400, 500 runs is not going to be relevant anymore. And that's not going to win you championships and win you trophies.